Hey guys,
Hey guys.
it's time for another Doctor Who review. This time we're reviewing Series 9, Episode 5, titled The Girl Who Died. If you haven't seen the episode yet and you want to avoid any spoilers, you're going to want to skip this video and come back later because everything we say from this point forward is going to be a spoiler. Okay, so the theme throughout this episode was make ripples, not tidal waves. And in an early scene, Clara says, "You are a tidal wave." And that actually genuinely, I think, hurt the Doctor's feelings.
Yeah. I think so too.
But the thing is, she's totally right.
Yeah.
He doesn't think he's a tidal wave. It's almost like he doesn't realize his own importance, which is very different from the 11th Doctor, who was very aware of his importance. So he's forgotten this. And speaking of forgetfulness, we finally found out in this episode why he chose this face. It's a reminder.
It seems to be a reminder that although he might not be able to save everyone, because that would create a tidal wave, he can save one person. Donna tells him that when they're in Pompeii, like, I'm not asking you to save everybody. I know this has to happen, but just save one person. One person needs to not die. And that's why he chose this face. Is sometimes you can't save everybody, but just save one person.
And the implication there is that it's something he has forgotten, but it didn't seem like any prior Doctor had forgotten. So why did he need the reminder? I hope we get an explanation for that.
I hope so too. The only thing I can think of is he's on a regeneration he shouldn't have had. So he has nothing to go on. Like, this hasn't been done. Nobody has regenerated this many times. So maybe he just wasn't sure if regenerating an extra time would make him forget.
Basically wipe his entire memory, which clearly it hasn't,
because
he references a former incarnation of himself. He references the third Doctor, reverse the polarity of the neutron flow. And I was like, oh, yay! Like, I totally fanboyed out at that part. And the third Doctor is pretty far down on my list as far as my preferences. But this Doctor is highly influenced by the third Doctor, and I'm really starting to enjoy this Doctor, so it makes me want to go back and watch more of the third Doctor.
Yeah, Capaldi as a Doctor has become, this season, he has just become more and more and more enjoyable as the Doctor. I am loving him as the Doctor now.
Absolutely. He's becoming one of my favorite Doctors of all time. And this season has just been absolutely amazing. It's great.
Yeah.
We're 5 episodes in, and we haven't had a weak episode yet.
No, they've all been very strong.
All been really, really good episodes. So one interesting scene in this episode that really kind of made me start to think is when the Doctor and Clara are talking, and he kind of indicates that she has changed him on some level, that he didn't used to be a warrior and a fighter, and now he is, and she made him that way. And the ironic part is not long before that, she had basically talked the enemy into leaving, and it was Shielda who blew it and started the war. And so Clara, her personality, that fire in herself of not giving up, he kind of thinks that has turned him into a fighter, but I really don't think it has. I think he's kind of always been one, and it's just coming out a little more now.
Like, she brings it out of him, but it's always been there.
Yeah, because she went full Doctor when she got transported to the ship.
Yeah, she was very, very convincing as, like, if she had been playing the Doctor, I would have been like, yep.
Yeah.
She impersonated him very well.
She totally encapsulated the Doctor in that scene, and she had talked them out of the war.
Yeah.
And I love that was great.
And what was fantastic is she encapsulated Capaldi's Doctor.
Yeah.
Like, not any other Doctor, his Doctor.
Yeah.
Which was absolutely fantastic. Like, you didn't just get a vague sense of the Doctor, you got Capaldi. Like, it was that Doctor, the 12th Doctor. That's what you got from it.
A little bit rude, a little bit aloof, and she killed it.
Yeah.
Good job, Jenna Coleman. So, talking about the theme of making ripples, not tidal waves, The attitude of the 12th Doctor in this episode, near the end of the episode, it reminded me a lot of the 10th Doctor near the end of his run, specifically in the Waters of Mars, where he's kind of raging against the rules and he's tired of abiding by these rules. The leader actually ended up committing suicide as soon as he dropped her off. And it was at that moment that the 10th Doctor went, I went too far. And I'm waiting now for the 12th Doctor to get to that moment.
Yeah.
Because he realizes now he can save people. It's this reminder that he can save people. So I'm waiting for him to go too far now. And he actually may have in this episode. Because with the tech that he put into Shielda, she is now functionally immortal. He says, barring any kind of accident, she could live forever.
Basically, she's not going to age at all.
Yeah.
Like, she's just going to stay the same. So, I mean, unless she falls off a cliff far enough to completely shatter everything, she's probably not going to die.
And the next episode looks like it takes place several hundred years into the future,
Yes.
during around the time where the myth of Robin Hood would have taken place.
Yeah. And
And
she's
She's
in it.
and she's playing, it looks like, kind of a Robin Hood character, where she's at least robbing a rich person in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
What she does from there, who knows? But she's definitely playing a bandit, and she hasn't aged a bit, and the time has definitely changed. Because this episode was Vikings, next episode looks like...
Well, she's got a gun, so right there's
yeah.
a huge time
Yeah,
jump.
this looks like Victorian era-ish, maybe a little bit before that.
Yeah, like maybe slightly
Late
medieval,
medieval.
but yeah, late medieval.
Late medieval
maybe it's
ages.
100 years after, far enough that she's probably lost everybody in her village. They've probably all died of natural causes.
Oh, but yeah, I'm talking...
Yeah, like,
we went
it's
from like
beyond
the year
that.
1200 to like the year 1700.
Yeah.
Somewhere around in there. So I'm thinking there's a 400 or 500 year gap between these, these two episodes, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this character Shielda has changed over those hundreds
And
of
how
years.
has she dealt with it?
Yeah.
And has she turned anybody else? Because he did give her a second dose so that she doesn't have to spend eternity alone.
Yeah.
So has she given that to somebody, or just does she still have it?
And that is remarkably compassionate for this doctor.
Yeah.
The fact that occurred to him, I'm like, okay, he's changing.
Yeah, that is absolutely incredible.
Okay, and finally, the one thing I want to mention is the theme of a story is happening throughout this series, it seems like. I remember, I think it was last episode, he's talking to the Fisher King. He says, your story is over. And in this episode, the villains, the monster of the week, was defeated by a storyteller. And so this theme of story is happening a lot. And I'm like, okay, that is clearly being pushed out there. What does it have to do with the long story for this series? Okay, if we missed anything, if there's anything you think we should have talked about that we didn't, let us know in the comments and we can discuss it down there. Also, if you enjoyed this video, and we really hope you did, let us know by clicking the like button and subscribe for more reviews.
And thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.